Welcome to Next Generation Volleyball. Today in this video we're going to take a look at tactical approach to the outdoor game. If you've seen our first one, we already have taken a tactical look at the indoor game. You're going to see a lot of similarities, but obviously the outdoor game is not quite the same as the indoor game. So we have to have a different video for that, for the outdoor game. And we're going to start with some numbers, just like we did in the first video. Here we go. By the way, my name is Kurt. This is Next Generation Volleyball, and we appreciate you tuning in. All right, here we go. All right. And again, we've got some numbers. We've been studying the outdoor game. Here's one game that we charted. It's a finals at the open level within the last couple of years. And this is what we've seen. I think that the outdoor game really needs a lot of work with statistics. I think we've seen great variability in these numbers. So we're not confident at all. We saw in the indoor game when we put these numbers up that we've charted a few games and they're pretty similar to each game doesn't vary too much, but the outdoor game, it's not the same case. So we're sheepishly putting some numbers up for the moment. We invite all of you to help us with your own charts. All right, here we go. So it's pretty straightforward. We found in one particular game that we charted 29 total attempts per team, 14 driven, 2 digs, but no swings off of the digs. 10 shots, 3 digs, 2 swings, and we think that was actually a down ball. So a little bit, something. And then, of course, 5 down balls, 2 swings, 2 digs, 2 swings. And we think all of these numbers are appalling. That this is what's going on at the best of the best is shocking to me. And I'm not saying that there is poor athleticism. I just think this is bad tactics. We've got to do a better job of digging the ball and keeping the ball in play. I mean, if we want to grow the game, as they say, fans everywhere really like rallies. No question of that. The only time you see the fans getting up out of their seats is when there's good long rallies. And if we're not playing better defense than this, we're not going to be able to grow the game. I'm just sorry. This has got to improve. Okay. So here we go. Let's take a look at the outdoor game from a tactical perspective. Here's the court. All right. So let's take a look at this game right here. We got offhand swinger. Let's just for the point right now, we're going to consider this offhand swinger and defender. We're going to talk a little bit about a defender on the line, but primarily we see about 7 or 8 out of 10 times the defender's taking the angle, and we actually think that that's the correct way to play. We're seeing most success angle dig, line, block. Obviously, we can't rely on this every time. We got to switch it up. Pretty obvious. But we want to go this as much as we can. And why that is, we'll perhaps talk about later today. Okay, so the first mistake we're seeing being made is this blocker tends to start right at the net. Tends to start right here, and this is a mistake. Like I don't even understand that. This blocker has got to start off, and the reason for that is there's too many down balls where this blocker is not getting into position. So this blocker has got to be prepared to either step forward and block or back and dig. Cannot start at the net. You're losing a step. It's not working out. All right, so obviously for the most part, this blocker is going to step forward. So let's just consider that. This blocker steps forward. Angle is the call. Where does this person start? So what we see is this guy will typically start here and jet across as the play develops. This is a tremendous mistake. And there are so many reasons why this is a bad mistake. And we'll get into that in future videos. But from a tactical perspective, the reason that this much movement on the court is foolish is because of how our eyes work. And what human beings are, primarily, we've evolved as predators. We're hunters. What that means is we're very good at seeing movement. So if you're as a defender and you're completely displaying your position by jetting across the court, it's just too easy for the attacker to see you when you move. We need to stop this. We need to stop this immediately because it just gives your position away to this attacker. There's something about the attack that we tend to forget because most of us have been playing for so long, we forget about when we first learned how to take a swing at the volleyball. But it is extremely difficult to time your attack correctly. Now, we've been doing it for so long, we forget this. But just think about this. As the ball is set, what we have to do as the attacker is to move forward and jump and swing our arms. We're moving forward, we're jumping and swinging our arms in order to hit a moving volleyball. So that's 4 different vectors that have to intersect at the exact point of contact. That's very, very difficult. Although we've been doing it for so long that we've got it down, that doesn't mean it's easy. It means that we're practiced at it. And that's why it's so difficult for the attacker to see the defender, because our senses and our brain is maxed. We're following that set off of our partner's hands. That's it. That's all that we can do. We cannot watch the defender unless the defender is moving. If the defender is moving, our eyes have that ever so slight ability to detect motion. And if we're giving away our position by running across the court, wow, that doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. And also, what I'm seeing is very rarely are attackers hitting shots right at the defender. And that means that despite the fact that we're running all over the court, no matter how much running we do back and forth, the defender and usually the attacker and the attacker's partner is calling the shot, and we're just rarely dropping a shot into somebody's lap. It just doesn't happen. And so why are we running around when it doesn't work? All this running around gets us nowhere. How often, if you're playing the AAA or open level, how often are you seeing shots land in your lap? It just doesn't happen. So let's stop the running around for the simple reason that our eyes are good at detecting motion. So that's the first tactic we're gonna note. Stop the movement. It gives away our position. So where we want to play as the angle digger, it's very, very simple. I read all this different stuff and I hear all this different stuff about where you're supposed to play. It's very, very simple. The attacker has 4 options. So let's back up a little bit and we're going to share with you where this guy is supposed to play. Let's look at the 4 options. 1 is line. There's 4 places: line hard, angle hard. Where's this ball going to go? Over the top, assuming that we got line block, or 4, cut it, right? Now there's lots of gray between all of those 4, and I recognize that, but for the purposes of this moment, There's 4 different ways the attacker can go, right? Line hard, angle hard, over the top, and cutting. Well, what we want to do is take away 2 of the 4 as the defensive players. The line blocker is going to take the hard-driven line ball away, hopefully. Obviously, that's not going to be always the case. It's pretty tough to consistently block that line. But the point of the story is that's the blocker's responsibility. It is not the defender's responsibility. But the defender can take this away completely. So of these 4 choices, we're going to take this off the table and this off the table. If they go angle hard or over the top, well, good for them.